Yo, what up? It is noon on December 30th. Um, man, fucking what a fucking year. The year is coming to a close and I'm just reflecting on everything that's happened. Um, Trying to as much as I can cuz definitely a lot of it I kind of try to um ignore it, like negative things. I'm like, yeah, let me think about something else. I got a really bad habit of doing that until it all kind of crumbles down on me. But with the end of the year, I've been thinking about like kind of, I wouldn't say regret and stuff I wish I did, but that definitely does exist. There is some stuff that I wish I did better this year, and it all comes down to the moment to moment. But I guess what I could do better moving forward is just do better moving forward. Like don't make the same mistakes. Try to be better and all that stuff. Um, Kind of fix it as I see it instead of like fucking it up, looking back on it and being like, oh man, I fucked this up, you know, because that doesn't really do nothing. And then I get discouraged and stuff. Like I got to be more eager to keep failing and moving forward, because that's the only way I'll learn and continue learning. It's just I fail once and I'm like, fuck, this isn't for me. I'll rationalize why things don't work for me. I'll make excuses and stuff, and I think the fact that I'm aware of it is a good sign that I'll try to do better about it. But who knows? But with that being said, moving forward into the next year, um, I never been one for New Year's resolutions and stuff for that, or like um, at least like not in a big deal sort of way. Like I wouldn't talk about it. Um, I think last year I started going to the gym for like maybe 2 weeks, and then I got frustrated with it and stopped going. I mean, there's so many people. I would go with my girlfriend, and that's a recipe for disaster. I'd have to eat like so much more than I was used to, but it doesn't really matter because I'm back on that again. But I just stopped going. Like I said, I make excuses. Case in point, right there. Instead of finding solutions and moving on, make excuses to just give up. So moving forward, I kind of want to do some like non-compromisal sort of goals and things that I need or would like to see done. There's obviously some big like non-negotiable ones that I have like for myself that are gonna go that way either way, even if I don't speak them into existence. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk to them to kind of get my sort of mental sort of picture of it. Um, you know, uh, some people are big into speaking things into existence, manifestation, stuff like that. So maybe this is my version of that. But also, like in a year's time, I would want to see w- what I said and how much of it I accomplished, or even 3 months or 6 months time. So um, I think the most important one for me easily is to get out of debt. I've been watching a lot of finance content and money, sort of smart money sort of content and shit like that. And I realized how fucked our generation is for one. So like economically, we are pretty in a bad spot as Gen Z, especially coming from my I guess how I grew up. I'm not. I might not even have came from like a middle class, if anything, like lower middle class, but at best, like upper lower class. Working class. If you find it better to say that. So I'm not in a good position financially from the jump, like from birth. Like I feel like I'm not um, too much worse than most people, like the average person, but definitely there's a lot of people with advantages. And I'm not making excuses, but it just means that I need to be a lot smarter with my money, and I should have been, and I should make sure I either start to or continue to, wherever you're at. Well, one thing about that is I'm in a lot of debt. Um, self-inflicted. I did this to myself, student loans, which kind of is a weird one. Like, I'm not going to act like I wasn't instructed how not to go into debt when it comes to student loans and credit cards. Um, but I just kind of, I didn't listen. In my defense, I was a kid. I was a little fucking child, a little fucking, uh, technically an adult by law, but not mentally prepared. The most responsibility I wanted was just, going wherever the fuck I want. I didn't know, things would repercuss this hard. But, I'm dealing with it now. I'm 24. I just turned 24 um, about last week, 2 weeks ago, somewhere within that time range. And, you know, I'm 6 months into adulthood. And I don't think I have a lot to show for it, but I think a lot of, uh, did I say 6 months? I meant 6 years. 6 years into adulthood, and I don't have a lot to show for it. Which I feel like I'm not the only one, and it's okay to not have it all figured out. But it's like, God damn, dude, like I expected a lot better out of myself, which expectation is a dangerous thing, but still, I'm at that point where I'm realizing I'm not doing as good as I hoped I would be, and so I'm like, time to get that shit into fucking gear. No excuses. Obviously, I am human and I make I think that's my big flaw of mine is I like to make excuses about why things aren't the way they are. Like you can kind of hear me doing it here and there throughout, like me just talking, pouring myself a glass of water. Um, but yeah, I definitely need to get myself out of debt. So I'm doing snowball method. I am currently. This isn't like, oh, I'm gonna do it next year. No, I'm currently doing it right now. And I'm doing snowball method. I have a handful of credit cards that were maxed out. Most of them closed, and one of them's paid off. Luckily, by next month I should have another one paid off. Woo! Just the small wins, being proud of that. That's why the snowball method works. Water break. It's good fucking water. But yeah, I'm gonna get myself out of debt. I should be able to do it within a year. I don't know. I haven't exactly like written it down in order to get like an exact sort of time frame for that stuff. I really, it's daunting for me to kind of track expenses and stuff like that, even though I really should. I've been doing a lot of overspending lately on fucking food. I know that for sure. I need to start cooking again. It's a little difficult when I get home at 10 p.m. No, 11 p.m. But I can either make excuses or I can find solutions. Like it's the same thing I've always fucking done. And so I guess that's the most important part for me is learning, knowing that knowing what I'm doing. What my mistakes are or what's holding me back. And it's definitely my mind, my excuses, my sort of coping about of my mistakes, how I'm trying to deal with it, which is it's healthy to want to deal with those mistakes, but it's definitely it comes to a point where it's like, all right, am I making excuses? Am I coping, or am I right? And a lot of the times it's very easy to be making excuses and coping, instead of being truthful to yourself, what but the truth is definitely hard to find in situations like that. Um, but anyways, yeah, I do really want to get out of debt. It's gonna happen before 2027. I'm gonna be out of debt. Hopefully 6 months in if I really lock in and everything goes smoothly. I think at the current rate, I could probably get out of debt 6 to 12 months. But obviously I'm gonna try as hard as I can with balance to what I need to do. So like for example, I started a band and I'm the vocalist, so I had to buy the vocal equipment out of my own money, of course. Like being a responsible bandmate and musician to these guys that I decided to make a commitment into making music with them, and they're doing the same thing. Making all these commitments and working hard to kind of make sure their setup is proper for us to, have good shows and make good music. So, um, like I said, within reason, like I gotta find that balance of stuff. Like I'm not going into debt for this current stuff that I'm buying, which I think is good, and I'm also paying down my debts at the same time, which is good balance. But I think after this, I definitely want to put more into those debts to kind of pay them down quicker, because the quicker I get those debts paid off, the quicker I get to save and invest my money, which is something that I've been wanting to do based on just some content I've been consuming on the internet, which is like YouTube, TikTok, probably not Instagram. Instagram is probably a cesspool for my brain, to be completely honest. But that's kind of my end goal, by the end of the year, just to kind of um, to point it out, like in a very direct manner. I will be debt free by the end of next year, by the end of 2026. I'm also taking like an HTML web development certification course thing. Um, like I said, I don't have a lot of money. I don't really believe in college. I'll probably talk more about that in the future. For me personally, like I just don't think it's my solution. Um, but for some people, I know it works, but I'm not going to college. I'm gonna hopefully be self-employed, and that's not how you do it by college. It's how you get good at employment. Um, I'm definitely gonna finish this. Let's see, like short term, finish this course. I'm already almost done with the HTML section. Then I'm gonna go into the CSS section, and then I'm gonna do JavaScript. And the CSS seems like the biggest chunk of it all. The HTML one I'm already done, and I think I started less than a month ago, which is great. I'm already literally almost done with the HTML section. I'm also working on some personal projects to kind of harness my knowledge that I've kind of been putting in, and then having a portfolio to show for. Although it's some simple stuff, things are actually getting done. And I think that's a big thing for me, is that in the past, like a lot of things I wanted to get done would never get done. For some reason, like I was a great project starter, but not a great project finisher, And that's definitely something that I'm aware of, and I'm trying to hopefully fix. So I'm gonna finish that cert probably within the next 3-4 months. I think I tracked like at my current progress, I could probably get it done in like 6 weeks. But my progress fluctuates because I wouldn't say I do it when I feel like it. Lately, I've been doing it almost every day. I have a job where I can luckily just bring my laptop and work on stuff like this. But I also, you know, some days I'm a little busy. Some days, it doesn't really go as planned. But yeah, that's something I'm going to continue working on every day, if not close to every day, when it makes sense. Um, and then with that, continue projects. And then with that in the future, I kind of want to reach out to small businesses in my city, my town, and possibly try to like do some website development for them. Because I've noticed a lot of like small businesses do not have good websites, and I think this could be a good sort of entrance into the tech field. It's gonna take a little bit of sales work, which I really dislike, to be completely honest. However, um, it's easier when you see the value in it, and I can see the value in it because not only have I worked hard to make it valuable, but also I'm doing this because I want to. I'm not getting paid to learn this right now, or nor is it guaranteed that I'll have anything. I think it'll be useful to know and to have. I don't, but nothing is guaranteed, Like best case scenario, I'm gonna be able to make my own websites for personal projects and stuff like that, which wouldn't hurt because it's good for my portfolio. Maybe if I have to get a job in the future, that's what I'll do. But what I want to use my portfolio right now is to show people like, yes, I can do this, and I can make things a lot smoother for you. Point out the flaws, the mistakes, and then show them how I could fix that, and then I can maintain it. Maybe do like a subscription, less upfront, but more subscription. At least to contract it out for a certain amount of time, because obviously nobody's gonna want to pay me forever for if I might not be doing anything. So that I don't know exactly how it works right now. I just need to learn how to fucking make the websites. um I need to get a new job. My current job is at the mercy of my manager, but it's 3 to 11 p.m. So the days is at the mercy of whatever. I'm sure I could request days off, but I did that, and I'm currently working days that I had requested off before. So that's completely in the shitter, you know. But yeah, like what I really need is something that isn't 3 to 11 p.m. I mean that fucking blows. I mean, like I said already, I don't like cooking after 11 p.m. Like I'm just too exhausted. Like it's easier to just grab like In and Out or some shit or something that's open at that time. And usually my girlfriend's asleep, so if I'm cooking for both of us, well, if she's either asleep at 11, or then the hour that it takes me to cook, she's asleep, at 12 or whatever. And so I definitely need a new job or a better schedule, or I could talk to my manager and be like, hey, like, is there a way we can switch things up? I don't think it's likely. I might just have to jump ship. I currently have two jobs and one's on a break, uh, and I thought with this break I'll have some more time off. Hell no, hell no. I don't know how he fucking sensed it or something, but my fucking hourly my schedule has gone back up to 40 hours, and before I was maybe doing like 2 or 3 days a week. Now I'm back up to fucking 5 days a week, and I don't know fucking how, because it's so fucking perfect that he knew that my other job was going on a break, and so that I could pick up more days. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to him, because I can't keep doing this 3 to 11 bullshit. um, I think the job is good in the sense that I'm so on the fence about it, because the job is good as in, like I just said, I can go pull up with my laptop and just fucking learn HTML and shit. But it's like I'm missing out valuable band time to practice with my guys. I'm missing the whole day. Like I'm just working the entire day away while my friends, are usually off of work. That's kind of getting to me. There's just several excuses why a job that is and I'm not making an excuse for why I shouldn't work. I really think it would be more beneficial for me to work earlier in the day, um, for several fucking reasons, which I just pointed out. So hopefully I've been kind of slacking on that, because I wouldn't say I'm complacent, but it's not the hardest job in the world by any metric. I don't get paid too much. That's another thing. I want to get paid more. So that's why I kind of want to do something else. I want to work more with my hands. I want to, do something interesting. Uh, I'm still waking up. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to find a new job. Hopefully by the end of this month, or within the next 3 weeks. Like I'm gonna talk to my manager today, and if it doesn't go well, I'm just gonna tell him, all right, put in my, not put in my 2 weeks then and there, because this other job, I don't know how guaranteed it is. If they said we're going till mid-January, mid-January's coming up quick, so I'm not, I'm fucked if I do that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna talk to him today, see how that goes. If he can't do nothing for me, then I'm gonna start looking for another job, put in my 2 weeks, yada yada yada. Hopefully it's a morning job, and I won't have to like schedule this fucking transitionary period for them to not schedule me over there, and then to 2 weeks over there. Yeah, all that bullshit. Um, so on the topic of my band, I definitely want to start practicing like 2 times a week, 2 times a week, 2 times a week. So, with all of our current schedules, except, well, with their schedules, if I was able to get Tuesday evenings and Saturday evenings off all the time, that would be enough for us to practice twice a week. Um, which I may be able to do that with my current job, but the problem is my current job is getting in the way of my second job, and so I'm making a lot less money because of that, because the other one pays me more. Anyways, um, I do definitely want to get up to 2 practice days a week with the guys, so that we could fucking start cranking out shit. I think right now we got like 3.5 songs. I don't think one of them's gonna stay, but three and a half songs right. Oh my fucking god! Wake up! Oh, I'm a pussy. 2 practice days a week. Another thing I want to pick up is playing tennis at least once a week for my health. I recently just quit nicotine for like completely, and I don't mean like coping, like switching to Zins and vapes and cigarettes and back and forth. No, I actually um, I was on cigarettes, which is like I guess the last stage for me before I wanted to quit because I wanted to make it hard for myself to quit before. I wanted to make it hard for myself to keep smoking before I quit. So, cigarettes are a lot harder than Zins and vapes because you have to be right place, right time. If you're gonna spark up that cigarette, you're gonna want to finish it or you're wasting your money. Anyways, I finally did it. I smoked the last cigarette in my pack. I think like Monday, which was a week ago. So starting Tuesday, I haven't been smoking cigarettes at all. And I'm keeping it going. I've been taking little pokes at vapes whenever I'm offered, which is just like it's been twice since since I actually quit. But it's been Christmas and stuff. I was a little stressed out, so I kind of asked my cousin. Um, but you know now with that, I'm definitely gonna keep it to special occasions for nicotine and alcohol. Um, but given that the nicotine is going away, my hunger I've already noticed is spiking. I am so fucking hungry all the fucking time, and it's good because it means that I'm gonna be taking in a good amount of calories, and then maybe I could bulk up. I'm a very skinny fella, in case you can't hear it by the tone of my voice. Um, but I'm gonna start eating, and I don't want to get fat, so I'm gonna start. I know tennis isn't like fucking full workout routine, but I think a lot of people that do full workout routine, it's very fucking extreme. So I refuse to do that. I'm gonna start playing tennis once a week. That'll be my way around it. I used to be a big fan of basketball, but it's a very very aggressive sport if you're with the right group, or the wrong one. And I just kind of I don't like it. It kind of ruins it for me. I kind of want to have fun. Tennis is fun. I suck at it, but I'm having fucking fun out there. You know what I mean? Um, as I kind of touched up on right now, nicotine and alcohol are definitely. Um, I noticed nicotine. I was doing it like every day. It's like super hooked, terribly. I'm definitely only gonna do that like when I'm drinking or when I'm, hanging out with friends or some shit. And then alcohol is something that I would do, not every day, but I would just do randomly and to have fun, and I would overdo it. And both of those things combined, both of those things on their own definitely fuck with my mood, but combined, I know it's just been sending me through a fucking shitstorm of just like mental stuff going on. So I'm just gonna cut both of them out. Not completely like a fucking Muslim, um, but more so like just save it for special occasions. Like if tomorrow is gonna be New Year's Eve, so tomorrow night I'm gonna get pretty fucking plastered with my homies and stuff. So I don't want to like be like no, like I don't drink no more, right? Because I do. I want to find that balance. I don't want to just give it up completely because that feels like a cop out. Just throwing it all away because I can't control it. Well, you don't learn nothing like that except I guess discipline, but you're not even really learning discipline because you're not addicted in the first place. You're just doing it for fun. What you're doing is teaching yourself the lack of discipline, the lack of control. So that's what I want to do is keep it going. Not keep it going in that sense, but like special occasions, I can drink and smoke a cigarette or two, but I really don't want to overdo it because even in times where I've had perfectly good reasons to be drinking, I've definitely overdone it, and that's something I need to get a hold of because, I it's bad for my health. It's dangerous for my relationships because I could turn into an asshole at any second. To my girlfriend or my family or my friends who I run around at the time, and afterwards, my health, physical and mental, is just in the fucking shitter. Like, I definitely should not keep doing that. I think mid 20s is kind of when it happens, and I've been kind of getting a hold of it. But 24, I think I'm fucking ready to stop straight up killing myself. Killing my body. Um, one more I guess, big thing I kind of want to do very often is some journaling. Journaling. Um, and I just kind of, I guess, every day or almost every day, kind of like how often I'm doing the HTML, I just want to write down um, what I did on that day, highlight some things to be proud of. That way I could track them because I'm realizing I am getting stuff done, but I don't really have any sort of metric to kind of show myself like, hey, you're doing a lot of good shit. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, well, I'm gonna continue doing good shit because it's all I know, which is great because I'm getting that discipline down to the point where I'm doing it all the time, and it's partially because I'm interested, partially because I'm self-disciplined. I've been learning, teaching myself. Um, but yeah, I just kind of want to put it in writing so that I can look back and at things. This is kind of what I'm doing with this, these videos right now is just tracking my progress in order to kind of vent frustrations and celebrate wins and just you get my mind in a more clear space as I've been trying to very often. I don't really open up much, so this is kind of like my outlet where I do that, and I think it's working well enough for me right now. Um, yeah, journaling, track my wins, track improvement, track grievances with things I need to improve on, with things I hate that that I wish were different, that I did different, and then keep hold of the things that I like that I do. But with all that, I guess my main thing is like my general sort of goal with all of this, like that encompasses most of these goals, is to kind of I'm seeking balance, for sure. Um, I definitely want to uh, get myself in a position where I'm not grinding as much on one certain thing that'll burn me out from it, and instead I'm kind of balancing my way to all these things that are equally as important to each other and equally as important to my mind in order to kind of put myself in a better position by next year's time, 3 months time, any sort of time frame. I just want to improve, and I feel like slowly I've been doing that, but it's I want to get better at getting better, I guess. So that's kind of my main sort of uh, motivator all the time. That what the fuck was that? Um, but yeah, that's about it. Um, Feel free to share some goals that you have for 2026, or if you're not a goal person, um, you don't have to. I'm not one to, I don't want to make this something where I'm just talking about myself all the time, because it's kind of egotistical, narcissistic, and that's not healthy. But yeah, this is like how I want to reflect, but I also want to reach out to people that kind of would like to do the same, and this is definitely a safe space for anybody to kind of put their input and go back and forth and share stories, advice, and stuff. And hopefully, best case scenario, you see some of the stuff that I'm working on, and juggling multiple at once, and you're like, oh, I want to try one of those. If this guy could do it while doing multiple of those things at the same time, I could easily do it while if it's my main goal. Make your main focus. You got to have your priorities, and then you know just execute, man. Just fucking execute. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing it. I'm cranking it out. I'm making it happen. A lot of big things that I'm not gonna tear up right now. A lot of things going on currently that I have to be proud of, because I know I'm working hard for it. So it's really amazing what you can do when you set your mind to. And there's definitely a lot of uncertainty in my mind, but if I can make it this far off of just being smart and making good decisions, and even some bad ones, and I just get better at making good decisions and making less bad decisions, and I'll be fucking fine. I'll be fine. I got a great support system. I got a good head on my shoulders. Anything that comes my way, I will be able to fucking destroy that shit. I'm fucking unstoppable. But yeah, you're unstoppable too. I love you. Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Love you.